Welcome, welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all our viewers and listeners, those tuned in on YouTube and on Facebook, but also on the website, www.transintersexhistory.africa. I welcome you all to this archival conversation. My name is Victor Mukasa, and I am your host. This show is brought to you by Trans and Intersex History Africa, and this is where we document our lives, our work, our movements, our achievements, and lived realities as trans and intersex Africans, both on the continent of Africa and also in its diaspora. Like we've always said, we've been silenced for so long, and we say no more silence. In the studio today, this Friday, we have a very special guest from Nigeria. The name is Ejiogu Franklin. They will be telling us more about themselves, but for starters, I would like to let you know just a little bit about who Franklin is. Hi, Franklin.
Hi.
Franklin is a Nigerian non-binary leader dedicated to advancing the rights of trans, non-binary, and intersex people. They, as he will tell us more about, they will tell us more about their pronouns, holds a background in management and food science with professional training through the Nigerian Institute of Management, Chartered and Michael Okpara University of Agriculture. But beyond their academics, Franklin is known for their fearless advocacy. They has been active in multiple movements, from LGBT stakeholder spaces to SOGI campaigns to feminist organizing. They has taken this voice all the way to the United Nations headquarters in New York, engaging at high-level political forums and the UN General Assembly on issues tied to the SDGs, always insisting on dignity and equal rights for all women, regardless of gender, identity, or sexual orientation. That is leadership, and we are very proud to archive that here at Trans and Intersex History Africa. Most welcome to the show, Franklin.
Thank you. Thank you. How are you, Victor? Thank you for having me.
I am doing very well, and I'm very excited to have this conversation with you.
That's great.
I hope that we did justice to your introduction, but since this space is for you and we are holding space for you today, there is enough time for you to say more about yourself during this show. And viewers out there, again, we remind you that our lenses are focusing on Nigeria today with Franklin Ejiogu, as you can see on the screen. For icebreakers, Franklin, what is your best food? We have heard about food, cuisine in Nigeria, fufu, and so many other things. Eba, and what is the best dish for you from your motherland?
Oh yeah, I think I go with jollof rice. I like jollof rice so much. Yeah.
That is a very hot dish, right?
Mm-hmm. Very spicy one at that.
Very spiced. I think it's in Nigeria where I first ate a spiced boiled egg.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, and I think Nigeria is known for spicy. But yeah, I think that brings us now into the show. And Franklin, thank you so much for honoring us, for honoring Africa, for honoring trans and intersex people across the world by telling your story. And please free to share only that you're comfortable with. But for starters, could you please let us know your pronouns again? I mean, if you how you identify, if you're comfortable with that, so that we can all follow as you speak today.
All right. Thank you, Victor. My pronouns are ZZD.
ZZD.
Yes.
Okay.
No.
And you identify as non-binary, I believe, from your bio. Could you
Yeah.
please explain to those who don't know what you mean by non-binary?
Okay.
If you can, also in the African context, if you can.
Okay. Being a non-binary, somebody that you don't find yourself in a specified gender. You are in between. You are like, as a non-binary person, I am. Some days I wake up, I want to be like a woman. I want to dress up and I want to feel who I am. And maybe tomorrow I come
Mhm.
up, you want to see me dress like a man,
Right,
right?
right.
Yeah, and do those things that they do, right?
Yes,
So we are not conforming with anything around gender, whatever. We're not binary.
yes. And we have people that are non-binary beyond you in Africa.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And so, viewers, that's another terminology if you hadn't heard about it, non-binary. And it is because they do not conform to any particular gender identity. It is feeling yourself and presenting yourself as you feel, I believe,
Sure.
Franklin.
Sure.
Yes. So as we start, we will go as usual. Usually, when we are doing the documentation here, we go back to where we start from. Where we start from determines a lot where we are going. And could you please share with all of us your beginnings? Your beginnings? When were you born? If you're comfortable with that,
Oh,
and your surroundings, including when you begin to realize that you're different. It's
yeah.
yours, Franklin.
All right. Thank you, Victor, for this question. Yeah, I would say I am born in Imo State. I'm from Imo State, where precisely. Yeah, growing up as a child, I got to understand that I was actually different from any other child around
Right.
my community, right? And at that time, like in Igbo land, they normally call me uh, there's an adage, "What can I make a wine?" It means a guy that behaves like a woman, right?
Oh, oh.
Yes, I was very, very feminine
What
when
did they call that?
when I was a child growing up. Even
Did they
till
have a name? The name for
they,
such
they
a
call
person?
me they call me "What make a wine," meaning a man that behaves like a woman, right?
Ah,
Yeah, till when I
wow.
grew. So growing up, I often time I that isolated me because I don't actually come out where people gather, because when I come out, people will always talk about me. So my life was all about, when I was growing up, it was all about isolation, right?
Um,
Isolation, because I understand that I do not fit in with those people. All right. At all
yeah.
times I come out, my dressings are different. Anything I do is different. So, and people talk about me. At some point when I was growing up, I
Mm,
keep on saying myself, what is wrong with me? So as at that time, I don't know that this is the spectrum I
right,
belong.
right, right.
I,
And
I
how was that the same situation at home, in the village or area where you lived, at school?
yeah, at home, I wasn't having much of stigmatization at home. My mother
Mhm.
was accommodating at that time, right?
Right.
But at school, I was having bullies bullying me, even
Mm,
teachers, right? Even teachers. So I grew up and I keep on praying. I said, what is wrong? Right? Till I found myself to up to JSS3 in the secondary education, and I
right.
have to see somebody that is my kind of a person. So we started becoming friends. So I
So
started,
you first saw somebody like you when you got to secondary school.
yes, in my JSS3, my
Wow.
300 level. So I now say, oh, wow, I have seen somebody that behaves like me, that acts like me. I think that I am not a misfortune, because at some point I was thinking I'm a misfortune
Right.
child, right?
Yeah.
So I started making friends with that fellow till I found myself in the university. When I found myself in the university, I started seeing a whole lot of persons that are in my spectrum. So that
Mm,
now made me understand that I am normal. Just before, based on what people were telling me, they said
yeah.
I am abnormal, right? So when I now understand who I am, I started realizing who I am. Then I now noticed that I am actually above normal.
Super normal.
Yeah, super normal, right? So I started understanding that I'm normal. So
Yeah.
I now engaged in modeling. At some point, I started modeling in the university where I was the first folks that opened a modeling agency. So I recruited a whole lot of people, and then
wait a minute! You opened the modeling agency
yeah,
at the university.
yeah, at the university. So
Which year
everybody,
was that?
that was 2007. And everybody now know me in the university. Some people say, that guy that behaves like a woman, right? As at that time, I have accepted who I am.
Yes.
Right? And all of them.
And you had more people like you.
Yeah, I have more people. And people now, the people that cost me in the daytime, in the nighttime, they come around to be my friends.
Right. Hypocrisy.
Are you getting it?
Yeah, I'm getting it.
Yeah, because I am, as at that time, even till today, when I put on clothes, I dress to kill. When I dressed and I passed, you don't look at me, I'll go back and remove that clothes. So, at the university, they gave me a name, Sexy Frank. That was my name.
Sexy Frank.
Yes. Everybody know me in the university. They know me for my dressing, the way I dress. They know me for the name I've made in the university and outside the university. So, fast forward to after the university.
Before the university, before you go, was at the university, did you have a terminology for your identity?
At the university, I understand myself that yes, that I am not in the spectrum of the other people, other identities I've seen, male and female. I saw myself because I keep on seeing people that are my friends that are also in my own spectrum. But at that time I don't know the name, right? I was still in self-discovery of who I am, right? So, but when I saw my friends and all those my friends that are in the same spectrum with me, we are doing exploits. So the only thing we understand then was that we are actually above normal. If we can do some certain things that even the people that still call themselves straight and the female cannot do, that we are above normal. And let me tell you, in the university, we became like a gang of people that are celebrities.
Wow.
Are you getting it? People cannot reach us. Before you reach us, you must to follow. you have to.
There's protocol. You have to follow steps.
Yes. So I went and won a national pageantry then. The Mr. Culture as at that time. So when they get national Mr. Culture Nigeria 2011. So after I won that national pageantry, I ran for 1 year, and I a lot of things happens in Nigeria. They take us to some certain country, people managing you, they will eat up all the whole money you work, they will eat the money. So at some time I say, no, I'm sick and tired of all this. So after the university, I now went for my national youth service, now started working for an NGO. It is in the NGO sector I now understand my spectrum, where I belong.
And where is this at that point? In which part of Nigeria?
Yeah, that was in Abuja, in Society for Family Health. Yeah, Society for Family Health. And there is another NGO, there is a CBO called ICTARI. And at that time, I was doing peer educator. So every day, I keep on reading journals, reading things that has to do with gender identities and all those. So I started realizing who I am, and in the spectrum I found myself. So over the years, like 2 years or 3 years, I worked with those NGO, and also a whole lot of discrimination.
This was mainstream organizations.
Yeah, mainstream organization.
Okay.
So I started seeing many queer folks who come to access health services in the MSM organization and gay organization, right? And many of the non-binary persons and trans persons at that time are being discriminated in those NGO because they are effeminate.
Right.
No, I in as much I know my my gender identity, I am also a spiritual person. I hear from God. So oftentimes I will sit down, I will pray, I will be having conversation with my spirit. So my spirit will be telling me, look at your people are suffering. You are educated. Is it not better you guys open an organization that will speak for the needs of the trans and non-binary people?
Specifically.
Right. So after I had a whole lot of those voices in my ear, I meet with some trans persons. They said yes. So that was actually what boils down.
By that time, which year is that? About
that was 2016.
16. And at that point, was there any other organization in the whole of Nigeria that catered for trans and non-binary people?
There is an organization called Gender Dynamics, not Gender Dynamics. That is called DIHA. They are the first trans organization in Nigeria before Crème, but it is trans and intersex organization at that time. But what also led to me to push me more for that opening of that organization was in 2011, I had a problem in my family.
Yes.
I had to come out for them.
You had a what?
I came out to my family who I am.
In 2011.
2011. And that actually ruined my final year. My parents said they are not going to take care of my education again. I should sort it out.
And that's at university?
Yes. That was in my final year. So I had to tell you, I had to do prostitution to get to pay for my tuition fee in my final. Take care of my project works and all those. So that's actually made me, even when my brother and I went out to start telling people about who I am, there before people just know me that I am an effeminate person. They don't know who I am really. So when my brother had to go out and start telling people who I am, so that made me, I stopped coming back home for 3 years.
Yeah.
So within that 3 years, I started building myself. I went back to do postgraduate in chartered in management, did postgraduate in project management, and also in safety and security.
Taking care of yourself.
Taking care of myself. Because at that time, my family said I'm a cost child, that I brought cost in the family, right? That I'm raising why a whole lot of things that is happening in the family is happening. So the only thing, and in me, I know that nothing is wrong with me.
Right.
So, and I said, I need to go back and build myself and make sure what they think I am is not what I am.
Right.
That I need to change that narrative of there. And I changed that narrative till today.
Congratulations on that.
Yeah, thank you. So when we opened that organization, we started with Safe Shelter. There are at that time many trans persons who are ejected.
This is Crème de la Crème.
Yeah, Crème de la Crème.
What does that mean?
It means the best of the best.
It comes from where you came from.
Yeah, it came from where we
yourself as super normal.
Yes, it came from where we're coming from.
Yes.
And that name was coined out to build the self-esteem of the trans, non-binary, and intersex people in the whole world, not only in Nigeria.
In the whole world. That's
not
your vision.
only in Nigeria, yes.
Well, you make me feel it already as a trans man.
Yes. So that when people see you, they know that you are the best of God's creation.
Right.
That you are the best of the best. You are the timber and caliber. It boosts your self-esteem because a whole lot of our community members are our people in our spectrum. Their self-esteem have been bruised to 0 degree.
Right.
It does, bring out the best in you, makes you know that this is who you are. Do not look at what they say. You Speak to yourself, speak to your spirit that this is who you are. You carry it, you embody it, and move
Yes.
around, because it is what you carry that people looks around. So that also now brought also my self-esteem to levels where we became indomitable.
Crème, Crème. So which year is that you found it?
2016.
And now you're beginning to lift up trans, non-binary, and intersex people in Nigeria. Yeah. It was a regional or national organization?
National organization.
Wonderful. Anyway, it's gonna be it is also a global organization. Crème, Crème. So yeah, I get it.
So we now started with Safe Shelter, where we now bring in our community persons that are facing one persecution or the other from different regions of the country. You know, as at that time, we don't have funding. I was the one funding the organization at that time from 2016 to 2018-19. So we bring them. As at that time, our safe shelter in Abuja, we have like up to 20 people.
20? All from Abuja?
Abuja in Abuja. So that was as at 2017, 18, and 19. Now, another persecution started from people where our office was domiciled at that time. Persecutions, we have mob attacks, we have a whole lot of names. When I pass in the street, people point me and said, this is their mother general, the owner of that organization that has all those people. They call us those people.
Right.
A whole lot. So we started building the reputation of the organization, started building the broken self-esteem of our community members who are homeless at that time. And today, we thank God today that many of them are not in Nigeria. Many of them are, up to 90% of them are now self-sufficient, are now self-sufficient, are not even in Nigeria doing exploit.
Thank you. You've done a great job. Yes. You and your team. Thank you.
Yeah. So our organization now push. When we now started, we started getting funding in January 2020. So when we started getting funding, we now moved out from that location where we were being mobbed often to another safe environment. Then from there, we now went to Lagos State to have another branch in Lagos State, and we also have a safe shelter in Lagos State.
So you left the one in Abuja, it was running, and you started another one in Lagos.
Yes.
Wow.
So we now have a safe shelter, and people in Nigeria knows that our safe shelter became the number one safe shelter in Nigeria. That always we look at security before we situate our safe shelter, and it is always in an estate. Right?
Is it a known shelter?
Yeah, it's not our own, but we rented it, right?
Is it known do people know that?
In the estate they know, and as God might have it, all the landlords we have had has been trans-inclusive landlords, people who are educated. So what I do, I often tell them, see, we have an NGO and we're going to be using the space for our community members. I hope you don't have. They'll say, in as much that you do not constitute nuisance, no problem. So the safe shelter in Lagos State, in Abraham Adesanya Estate, at that time, it runs for like 3 to 4 years before we close it down. It was serving people from the north, from the west and south, the one in Lagos, and the one in was serving people from some in the east and all from the north. So with that, we started pushing with the Nigerian government, so making sure that the trans community persons' health needs are being covered in national guidelines.
Health needs of trans, non-binary, and intersex people.
Yes.
How were you able to engage with the government with the legal situation in Nigeria?
Yes. what we did was we had a whole lot of people that was in our own side. Then we have a whole lot of strategized advocacy visit to a whole lot of government agencies, embassies, and we had an entry point, right, with the National Human Rights Commission, with Nigerian Federal Ministry of Health, and NACA, National Agency for the Control of AIDS, at that time, even till now. We had working relationship with a whole lot of embassies, especially the U.S. Embassy, who were giving us entry point to a whole lot of all these agencies. So when we have all these advocacy visits with them, after every month we follow up. Our strategize, not only us, our organization, me and my team, the advocacy visit we had led to the Nigerian government to invite us for a meeting, a stakeholders meeting, where they wanted to talk about a national study for HIV, which is called IBBSS, which they call Integrated Behavioral Biological Surveillance Survey in Nigeria. So
when was this? When the government invited you?
That was December 20. That was 2019. I think that was 2019, around November, December. Yeah.
And that is after the tabling of the anti-gay bill in Nigeria.
Yes.
Very
So
interesting.
yeah, in that meeting was 5 days meeting. We contributed, I and my team, I and another trans person, we contributed immensely in that meeting. That meeting has to do with all the whole top directors in all the whole agencies. That has to do with health. That has to do with control. That has to do with in Nigeria. So with what we brought in the table during that meeting in that 5 days, when they started, when they said they are not going to include the trans community persons in that national survey, the then Director General of NACA now stood up and told me, he called me by my name. He said, Franklin, I said, sir, everybody was seated. He said, looking at you guys since the day one that we have been in this strategic meeting, that we have contributed immensely in this meeting, that he feels that the trans community are the most organized community in Nigeria, more than the other communities. With that was what he said. With the power vested in him, that he's going to include the trans community in this study.
Wow.
And he said, please, when he's done, nobody should ask him any question. That is his decision. That can then move on to him.
And that was the top person at NACA.
That was just it.
Wow, amazing.
So with that, the study now happened in 2020 in 12 states in Nigeria, where we had sampling, the asked questions. It was integrated. It was quantitative study and qualitative study. So it was gathered based on the information. We have the outcome of that study in Nigeria. Have the outcome here, the data. So it was understood that in those 12 states of the federation that those study was carried out, that we have the presence of up to 750 sampling size of the trans community persons in those states.
Wait, 750?
Yes.
And this is at official level. It is part of the data.
At official level. I will share that data with you.
That would be great. That is a very big achievement. In fact, at some point, we want to understand how you did this at some point when there is more time, because what you do there can be replicated in other parts of Africa. No wonder Crème de la Crème is a global organization.
Yeah, that led.
Congratulations.
Thank you. That opened up doors for our intervention in Nigeria, for the trans and non-binary and intersex intervention, health intervention in Nigeria.
And it sounds like that's a recognized intervention.
Yes, it is a national recognized. After then, many IPs, which they called IPs, they called them IPs, the people that fund HIV interventions in Nigeria, now started bringing up, engaging other upcoming trans organization in their HIV services, started giving them grants to do HIV stuff. And that now was an entering door for we to now have much of the trans organizations we have today in Nigeria.
Wow.
Are doing exploit in HIV and human rights.
You kind of broke the chains.
We did that.
Yeah. And in this, my God, when you were having that first meeting, and then the study, were there other queer organizations involved, like gay and lesbian and?
Yes, we have for the MSM, which is a gay organization. We have for the sex workers. We have for the
Cheers.
Yeah, we have for the MSM gay organization. We have for the PWAID for people who inject drugs, and we have for and we have for people who are in a closeted environment, right? So those people also represent their people in that study, because that study is not only for the trans, it's for the these 4 typologies in those 12 states. But why it was a bigger a breakthrough for us is that was the first national study that had the trans and non-binary and intersex persons recognized to be part of in that.
That's a big deal. That's a very big deal.
Yes.
Now, with that kind of recognition in Nigeria, on one side there is this recognition, and then on the other side they are the barbaric laws.
Mm-hmm.
What is the situation like for, number one, gender affirming care in Nigeria? Is it supported by the government? And what is it with intersex people? In terms of those surgeries without consent and recognition of the presence of intersex people in Nigeria.
Yes. To buttress your question, to answer your question is that I think our organization is not the only organization that is into all this advocacy. Yes. Initiatives. Looking at intersex, I think there is another organization that are into specifically in intersex, which is called Intersex Nigeria.
Oh yes.
They have Obioma is the executive director. She have done much about advocacy that has to do with gender affirming care for the intersex community, which I know the Nigerian government accepted. There was some certain things that they did that they accepted, some certain things. And for the trans community, it is also that's how win through the intersex lens.
Right.
Heading it to be an entering point for the transgender community.
Right.
Gender affirming care also.
That's strategic.
Yeah.
It's strategic. So is there provision? Does government provide hormones or in surgeries? Have they authorized them?
No, the government have not authorized that. Even there are sometimes many of our trans community persons, they reach out to us who wants to start their transitioning, medical transitioning. They want to ask us to give them drugs. We say we are not in any way, we don't have any power to tell you a kind of drugs to take. That all these things has to go with litigations. Litigations, government saying, okay, putting it in policies, because if anything happens and one taking another stage in medical transition, and there are many things that many steps one have to take, many tests and all those things, and you need who are. So we're not into it, and the government have not, but we are pushing on. That is one of those differentiated care models we have been advocating for now, for the transgender persons in Nigeria, and we know in the near future that will be granted to us.
Wow, thanks for your leadership, Franklin. We are coming towards the end. I know that you're a very busy individual there, but I wanted you to take us a little bit to global advocacy and UN engagement. As an individual, I saw that you have been at that level doing advocacy. I wonder if you've been at the African Commission, but tell us more about your voice in those spaces.
Yeah, it is one thing for us in the community,
Mm,
nothing for us without us.
right.
Right. So what stood out for me and for some certain folks there, it was a moment of learning for me and a moment of lending my voice to how strategic one can be in his advocacy approach, right?
Right.
Like, yeah, like with the UN engagement here, it is not only me that is in that
Mhm,
engagement. One thing we do is that we fine tune our voice, and
mhm.
the UN will give us space, and one person will speak on behalf of us.
Right.
It has been a learning process. It's
Mhm,
been a strategic learning process for me on
mhm.
how to advocate
Right.
through the UN lens.
And we need that voice up there for policy uh, reform
Yes,
worldwide.
I can tell you for fact, the community members who have been doing exploit. One
Mm,
that stood out for me is many of the communities that are community members that I've met in the UN process, that we have
mhm.
worked together, write out a fact sheet that we read down there in the UN during the meetings. I had to understand how the queer community members have been going back to school, being a doctor. When you see it is a learning process, and that was one
Yeah.
of the things that is gearing me now to go back to for my masters. I just applied because
Good.
not without us. The the more you go higher in education, the more um, educated you become, the more opportunities we become, the more spaces we take.
Right. 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 And we need to take those spaces. So for most of us, kind of veterans, we are very grateful for the route that you younger leaders are taking, because our activism was very organic. We didn't know what terminology is. We just fought. We just fought across Africa. I would like to mention some of those people that fought in Nigeria those days. Davis Makiala, Igwe. There was Dorothy. Uh, that one was from Abuja. And a few other people in Nigeria, and it was a different kind of struggle. But today we see that in order for the spaces everywhere to be taken up, we need to get to the level of those spaces, and you all have actually mastered this. So I'd like to salute you and all the younger activists on the continent
Yeah,
for fighting, continuing to fight to take up those spaces on all of our behalf.
and I want to say something again.
Yes, please.
All the achievements was not only earned by only Crème de la Crème. We
Yes.
have, I would say, the movement in Nigeria has been so strong.
Yes.
I know that we normally have our internal issue, but I can
Yes.
for fact,
Like everywhere.
yeah, I can tell you for fact that
Yeah.
all the whole wins is attributed generally to all the whole queer folks in Nigeria.
That's
Everybody
right.
voted for their exposure
Yes.
coming out, some people who are coming out, some people who are using their media, a whole lot of all those things are advocacy, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
I not only attributing it that it is only our organization, other organization contributed. It is a win for the whole movement building in Nigeria.
That's right. And in the end, thanks for recognizing the contribution of others. In the same lens, we recognize the contributions of Reverend Jide Macaulay, of Siwedo Akoro, I'm a Swedakoro in Nigeria. About 2 decades ago, I was training activists there about international human rights instruments. And Siwado was like your age. So it's good to see people like you
Yeah,
rising up.
but he's of my age, but he's like a boss to me because there
Eh,
are people who
He
look.
was like your age when I trained
Oh, okay.
in Nigeria.
They are
That
wonderful people. Jide Macaulay, they are wonderful people, and those are the people that we admired in our
yes,
private spaces because they might not know us. But those are the people that are sitting up there, we look into, and we are doing the little we are doing from the grassroots.
I'm sure they see you and they appreciate that. If even me, a Ugandan, can see you guys do this, it means that the Nigerians are also seeing you. And we thank you so much. So, on that note, Franklin, I would like you to leave a message, a very specific one, to activists, especially young activists on the movement, young binary, trans, non-binary, and intersex activists in Africa, but being from Crème de la Crème, probably global. But start with us in Africa, please, before you
Okay.
go out there. And I'm going to bring you on the screen so that that can be cut out as a special message to people that we can show over time. I'll bring you on the screen. You'll be by yourself on the screen. Introduce yourself again, your identity and your pronouns and where you're from, and leave that message for our people.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
All right. My name is Ejiogu Franklin. I am the co-executive director, Crème de la Crème House of Fame Foundation, and my pronouns are they. So what I need to tell our community members in Nigeria and in Africa is, everybody, we need to take up spaces. You don't need to come out if you're not ready to come out. You can still be where you are and still make some changes. Please, it's time for we to be responsible for our actions and take up spaces. This movement, nothing for us without us. Everybody have 1 or 2 things to contribute to the actualization of the rights of the LGBT community members in Nigeria, in Africa. Before I end, always, as a person, I would thank those people that have been there before us. Those people that we look into, we look at, even as many of them do not know us. They are brave soldiers, and we are not taking the efforts you people put in place for us in vain. And I am also asking people that are coming after us to also look up to us or look up to people ahead of us and take up spaces. Thank you very much.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Franklin. Let us take up those spaces and let us recognize those that came before us and also wish well those that are coming after us. It is a very powerful point there that you brought out, Franklin, that the message you send to those that are coming before you, it means you have big hope for the future of this movement. Franklin, thank you so much for honoring this invitation. And to everybody listening to us, please share the video far and wide. This is a very powerful message that people need to hear from Franklin's beginnings and how that led Franklin into the leader that they are today. Until next Friday, thank you very much. Au
Thank you.
revoir. Bye bye.
Thank you.